Station Radio. Talk to the Stones. We're here once again, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about aliens. That's producer Jim on the guitar. We got Michelangelo drawing up a masterpiece. And it is I, MCJC. I'm going to guide us through a little talk about these alien disclosures. But first, I'd like to give a shout out, a rest in peace to the great Gordon White. We got news today that he passed. Gordon White wrote a lot about aliens. His book, Starships, has really good work that brings together the research of Jacques Vallée with people like Graham Hancock and a bunch of others. It's a really great book if you want to learn more alternative history involving aliens. And he was a wizard of the tallest order, and he will be sorely missed. So I hope that you are well on your way in the next round. Gordon White, peace be with you, brother. And with that, Stones, how are we doing?
Living, baby.
So there's a reason that... Wow. With radio like this, we never miss. So there's a reason that producer Jim brought us in with a little Blink 182. We'll get to that. Blink 182 frontman Tom DeLonge in the center of a lot of this story, weirdly. But yeah, we're talking aliens. So first, I think that I just want to get a grip on. I think right now the government is giving us, the U.S. government is doing disclosures, and I think they're doing it in tranches every couple weeks. Is that seems to be what the dealio is? And the first
schedule seems to be tranche, like in
tranche
organization.
The betranched files are coming our way, and the first batch was seen as a bit of a letdown. I think people were expecting undeniable biological matter and things like this. But anyways, they are something. And I think a lot of people are worried that it is a tactic by the government to distract maybe from certain things like the Iran war not going very well, or at least taking longer and being less decisive. There's a super El Nino that's now at 100%. Going to get it this fall, and that could be a huge struggle. There's always the Epstein files and the culture coming to an actual reckoning with the shit that's in there. Yeah, so I wonder what you guys think about that. Just first talking about, like, because we're talking about it on PSR because it's like top of people's minds, and it's top of people's minds right now because of the disclosures. And so I think that, like, just before we enter in, clearing up, like, yeah, how do we actually make sense of and digest, like, why are they choosing now? Why is this government choosing right now?
As a default, you have to be skeptical of like anything the government says. So I don't know that it throws anything out because of that, but it's still something you just got to filter it through that, like with a critical lens,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. For decades it's been like the government denies UFOs and alien, or whatever this phenomenon is. Mm-hmm. They're denying it, and that's almost you can't trust them. So it's almost the rule is like, well, the government says it's not true, so maybe it is. And then now,
right,
that it's a little flipped. I mean, they're not coming out and saying anything definitive. But yeah, it's funny how that's flipped.
Yeah, and one could think that, like, I do think that straight up denying whether or not there is anything extraterrestrial going on, there are, without a doubt, lots and lots of unidentified phenomena in the space, in air, etc., that I think they have hidden from the public for various reasons. I do feel like, and I expect we'll get into it, but the stuff that it has come out, it's like, it is weird, but like you like you said, there's no like smoking gun. There's not like,
Right.
We don't have smell-o-vision yet over the internet, although someone did try to do that, I think in the late 90s or early 2000s, and people, the test consumers did not like it because they thought it was eerie and creepy. But we're not downloading 3D printing our own non-human biologics, or getting really compelling video or photographic evidence. It's all stuff that is odd for sure. And there could be a strategy in that there may be a lot more that they have that may come out in a future tranche. I don't see a lot of strategy in this administration at large.
Period.
But I also feel like whether or not there is more, like releasing stuff that is weird enough to be intriguing but doesn't really do much on its own, is like what one would do if distraction were the goal.
I think, though, it also, like, Trump really seems like there is no strategy, period. And so it kind of makes the why the release now thing up in the air. There's just no telling. It could be that Trump, like, actually is, release it. The public should know. I highly doubt that. It could also be for whatever nefarious he's trying to distract from something else. Or it could just be just a total bullshit thing just to stir stuff up. I don't know.
Yeah, and to flip that script, like, is this being released now in order to be a distraction, or is some of this stuff coming out because Trump had at least said in the past that he would let UFO files out? Is it coming out now because there are so many distractions that this is making less of a splash than it would during a quiet news cycle?
Right.
Yeah, right. Ooh, that's an interesting other side of it, where if there is some concern by the deep state that disclosure too fast or too direct would just like fry people's brains so hard that we would have like potential societal breakdown, then there is a strategy of like, okay, while there's a whole lot of big shit going on, you start a trickle then and get people used to like UFO stuff is in the news. That's just kind of a way things are now. And you do that for like a month or two and then sort of boil the frog that way. So that then when really big shit does land, it doesn't feel out of the blue. It's kind of, been normalized in some way.
I mean,
think
about that. Yeah, sorry, go.
Well, I just think it's like this frame of the reality war that I've been using a lot to understand the world lately, and how much of what the media is describing and how our institutions describe themselves and like play themselves. It's all about, controlling reality, like how we understand and sit inside of reality. So, it only makes it to me, the least likely thing is that there were just some really earnest Congress people who were like rooting for a lot of grassroots desire for this. And then they just got the work done and they passed it. And, that's, to me, that's the only one I refute outright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I agree with you there.
I wonder, what do y'all think about the claim that, like, let's say they are trickling it out because people would like lose their shit and society might break down. What do y'all think about that in general? Like, I don't think that would happen.
No, but what they can do is because I feel like Trump has said in the past that he would come out with UFO stuff. Do you guys remember that? Does that sound familiar? Is that like something that he's at least said in passing? I just want to make sure I'm not like making that up.
There were, especially in the last few months, there were these questions lobbed on Air Force One, and in those kind of passing press moments, where someone would ask about it and he'd be like, yeah, I mean, I think it's really weird. I remember there was this one very recently before it was announced that there's going to be a disclosure, where he was like, I don't believe it in aliens really, but I've seen some really crazy stuff. I think it's probably true. It's like, the way Trump talks, where it's just
for sure,
because at least the Department of Wars, which like I know that there's still the Department of Defense according to Congress, but the URL is now war.gov. If you go to war.gov/UFO, it does seem that all of this is precipitated by a Trump truth. And then the Department of War, like it has that posted at the top of that of war.gov/UFO. And then the directive in response
such a crazy URL, dude. War.gov/UFO.
All right, I'm trying to think of so I'm just going to read his truth. So based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Director of War, the Secretary of War, and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. So that was his truth, and then the directive starts in response to President Donald J. Trump's directive for transparency and U.S. government information regarding and so on, and it's a lot more formal. But it could just have been precipitated by him, like, oh, well, I kind of said I would talk about that, and people would probably like think I was good if I followed through on talking about that. So to tie this in, how this relates to the answer to the question that was posed, the idea that they are trickling in, is that they could have gotten this and felt like they had to act on it, which is what the website tells us. And trickling it in means that they can trickle enough to get people interested and enough for people to like attaboy Trump for following through on something, and they can cut it off whenever they feel like the the purpose, which is public opinion, is achieved, or if the content itself is too alarming. They can, it's like the opposite of boiling a frog, really.
Yeah, freezing a frog.
Sure. Yeah, but what's something that like. It like gets uncomfortable, but then at a certain point, it's like, oh, that's too much. Stop now.
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot in the sack. Am I right, man?
Amen, brother.
Hey, yo.
Hey.
Here, hold on. Hold on a second.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Hold on a second.
Do it.
That happens a lot in the sack. So there's like a I noticed in the that is like the Veep, the most Veep like explanation is that he just wants to do it, so then the Department of War people there have to find the most oh, these are all technically UFO stuff, and there's absolutely like it's just mysterious enough, and it doesn't really lead to anywhere, and it's not the real stuff.
Sure.
I mean, because they record so much, they have to have truckloads of that material. That's like, oh, this is actually a drone, but it was a UAP at the time. Like, we didn't know.
Sure.
You know, there's a ton of that stuff, I'm sure.
I listened to one interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson and some guy from NASA, and he was saying that generally there's like it's 1% of information or videos or pictures or whatever that they get. About 1% is stuff they just they can't explain. You know, else than that, they usually can write stuff off. Whether or not that's true or accurate, who knows? You know.
Yeah, I can't explain the 1% either.
Yeah, right. What the hell?
All that stuff. Yeah.
Bernie. Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson, is he CIA?
Yeah, at this point, man, hard to say who is and who's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I did have the privilege of meeting him. I was at a American Physical Society conference, and he gave a talk for graduate students, and I was one of them, about science communication, and just some basic ideas. Like, you don't really know what you're talking about unless you can explain it in layman's terms, and without being able to communicate to an intelligent but non-specialized public what you're doing in your research, then no one's going to care. That kind of stuff. He was extremely charismatic. One of the most charismatic people I've seen in person. I didn't get CIA vibes.
Okay, new question. Has producer Jim been compromised? Is he CIA?
Holy shit.
No, but I got rejected by the FBI's eligibility requirements.
You tried to be FBI?
Yeah, I was going to apply to be a special agent with physical science specialty. I presume doing forensic ballistics and stuff like that.
That is not a cab, brother.
Oh, no. What do they call it when you do something from the inside?
Oh, yeah.
But not all cops are bad.
I would
Some
just
of
at
them-
this point like to say that we are three individuals.
Come on,
Opinions expressed. Or,
That's just my opinion. So it's funny. I'm part. I help out sometimes with this volunteer group that gives food and supplies to the unhoused population, and we have a donor who does patrol the area. That's like her patrol. She saw what we were doing and liked it. She donates to us, but she likes us to meet her a few blocks off the park so that the park population doesn't know that she's contributing to the mutual aid. Which every time, well, actually, I can't say that. Never mind. I'll explain to you guys. No. It's just that
You're about to spin this. I can just feel that CIA training kicking in.
Right. Well, anytime that like ACAB comes up in the group, I'm like, well, what about? And I'm not going to say her name.
Right. Don't dox her.
But anyway, the two eligibility requirements that I failed. One was I would have been too old by the time I completed basic training, because the special agent is like a physical job. That's like, you have to do a lot of physical fitness requirements, and they have an age requirement that's too young, in my opinion. I think I'm very fit for my age. But they actually had like a series of tests. Like, you had to be able to do this many push-ups. You had to be able to run this quick a mile, stuff like that. But then the other one is you were not allowed to have used any drug illegally in the last 10 years, except marijuana within the last year. And like, on one hand, like, you don't want someone on the force that is actively addicted to cocaine or fentanyl or meth. But on the other hand, like,
Maybe you do.
don't you need someone who's like twisted to get in the head of the psycho
Right.
drug addict
Right.
to really? Like, how are you going to catch the meth tycoon if you don't think like the meth tycoon?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think Neil deGrasse
So
Tyson is. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Which I haven't. I've never done drugs, but
course not.
I just thought that requirement out of principle. I thought it was disqualifying of the organization for my
Right.
participation in it from my side. Oh, I was gonna say. I also figured if there were one employer that would figure out that you were lying to them in the application, it's probably the FBI.
yeah. I remember when I was a teen and I would be, applying for jobs at like, I don't know, some greasy spoon diner and saying that on the application that I don't smoke weed and being like, are they going to test me? Like, do I need to like acquire piss?
I remember picking jobs based off whether or not they do, because you're like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you can't pass that.
I remember people like enthusiastically being like, the movie theater's hiring and they don't drug test. Oh, I remember those days. Wow. That brings me back. The nostalgia of that memory that just came up for me is it makes me feel like an alien in my own life. Anyways, let's move on. Yeah, and I also just want to say, it's funny to talk about ACAB, but of course we're all God's children, and we are all coming from our own life perspectives, and a lot of us are just trying to do good in the ways that we know how, and it's real easy to throw stones, but it's a lot more important to talk to the stones. PSR.
A lot more important.
Hey, that was pretty good. Wasn't that pretty good?
That was good. Yeah, I was going to follow up with a counter that would have been kind of rude.
Oh, yeah.
I won't dox this person.
Really good for the momentum of the show to say it that way.
Yeah. No, but not to dox this person, but a town where I grew up in, the most bullied kid in the high school, like I think I can say that with certainty, is now a police officer in the town. And you also have situations like that where maybe I don't know what he's up to. I don't know how that's going, but there are vindictive, like cops out of vindication as well. Not that this person is for sure, but I don't know why else they. Anyway.
Yeah. Maybe to overcome injustice that he experienced.
Maybe so.
It is weird that people who are pro-cop often like the Punisher, like the one superhero who just in their name, they're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right. R.I.P. to that artist. The guy who
did he die?
Punisher. Yeah, he died like a couple weeks ago.
He's one of the scientists that...
Yeah, Jerry
Look it
Conway,
up.
John Romita. Which one? I want to. I'll name the guy when I find it. Oh well.
Okay, so I want to talk about some
Yeah.
of the disclosures. Yeah, I'm
Please
real
do.
sorry that the punish. Anyways, okay, I am. Let's see. So
I am. Trust
I like
me.
trying to. So some of the disclosures. Now, I don't know for people who haven't been keeping up with this. A lot of them were seen as a little bit of a letdown, but there's some interesting thing in this new batch. One of them was these descriptions by the crew of Apollo 11 talking about little glowing orbs that appeared inside the cabin while they were there. Buzz Aldrin was talking about that, and them seeing some stuff when Apollo 11, when it's like approaching the moon, you know, they like jettison a lot of things during the flight, and so some of that just looks weird out the window. Like, you know, you're also in such a frame breaking fucking experience for a human. I can only imagine what it's like, your brain trying to make any kind of sense of, you know, even something very normal, like a part of the engine, or even the canisters of piss they were talking about, they got jettisoned out. Yeah. Just in like the blackness, and not having any way to judge depth or to like make sense of the shapes. I think that some of that, you know, who knows? But then there are these like little orbs of light that Buzz Aldrin saw, and then on the last day inside the cabin, the other two people saw. And then there are also these photos in Apollo 12. They had these photos on the surface of the moon, these weird shapes and lights in the sky. I wonder what you guys think about that. Those two things, the Apollo ones first.
I didn't make much of them, just because, you know, I don't know. I feel like first off, the pictures, it's just like, dude, whenever it comes to stuff like that, there's, you know, I'm guessing an infinite amount of possibilities of what it could be, you know. But then the video of them talking about what they saw that we shared, first off, we do all outright throw out the window body language experts, right? Is that true?
That's not how I feel, but
y'all don't feel that way.
I like how the way that you framed that though was so bandwagon. Like, yeah. We all
come on, boys. Come on,
boys. Say it with me. Oh, body language experts are a bastard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah. I do not take body language experts to be like serious at all, but from their own personal accounts too, you know, there's some interesting stuff there. But again, it's just like, how many things could it be? The little specks, you know, that they're seeing.
I do want to say that YouTube video we watched there's a body language expert who was looking at them answering questions from the press. I will say body language experts are compelling when they're just pointing out stuff that when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that is like, oh, he begins to rapidly twist his pencil and start moving. Oh yeah, he looks uncomfortable. Like when it's very obvious basic stuff. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't go in that video. He might be totally off the deep end with it, but
sure. Yeah.
At least in that video, I think it's compelling when they're just pointing out stuff that really is very relatable. Like if they were in a room with you, you would notice like, wow, he looks nervous.
Well, that's one of my critiques.
Oh, okay.
We're all body language experts. We're human beings. I mean, you know, having someone tell you what you're seeing, that just, I don't know. I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I don't trust someone else telling me. So,
you know, if you invert the argument, you know, as one will, as a rhetorical exercise to strengthen the viewpoint. It is also uncompelling when a body expert points out something that is not occurring.
Right.
So that adds strength to the viewpoint that it is compelling when they point out something that is obviously occurring. Yeah, I don't know. But I admit I did not watch the body language expert. What was their assessment? Were they bogus? Did they say bogus?
Essentially, it was aliens? Like, oh, these guys are uncomfortable.
Right. He was pointing out that during the press conferences they seemed very uncomfortable when the topic came up, and it did seem that way. But it wasn't like I didn't come away from the video or during the video. I wasn't like, boy, I'm glad we have a body language expert here. It wasn't like that. He wasn't like, really putting breaking a sweat or anything.
Experts' observations aside, to you both, did did their uncomfortableness seem to be suggestive of some sort of dishonesty, or of just like the phenomena itself was bizarre, or was it maybe from a place of feeling like they would be not taken seriously and they were kind of putting themselves on the line by talking about something that people might conclude as whack job or false? Like, did you infer any source of, like, any more nuanced source of being uncomfortable?
It could be that they are trying to conceal something, but also true that it's something totally benign. And it's just like protocol that's like, hey, we don't know what you were experiencing, don't talk about it. So they're like trying to beat around the bush a little.
So did it seem like maybe they were intentionally evasive and they were uncomfortable because they didn't want their evasiveness to fall short of what some department's policy is?
I think that's possible, but
I think it's possible. I took it as like they legitimately didn't know what to say about what they experienced.
My sense too, there's two things I think are really important that I would like to add also, is that in the 60s, like, those guys grew up at a time before television,
right?
When they were kids, and they went to fucking space, and now they're talking in front of an audience that will be seen in all of these living rooms. And that's like a really
for sure.
There's like, I think it's hard. If I was on national television, it would freak me out. Just that alone. And then if you're talking about, and then also it's like a much more square society. So if you're talking about something that is a little unexplained, it's like embarrassing, I think.
Sure.
Like,
on the flip side, they could say like, "Oh, you're LSD dropping hippies."
Right. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Anyways, those were interesting to me. The photos from the surface of the moon that had colors and shapes in the sky are fucking weird. It's weird. I don't know that they saw those things. What could that be? I don't know.
I agree.
Weird?
The photos from 12 are pretty bizarre, especially the ones that are arranged linearly or columnarly, however you want to describe the arrangement.
The columnar.
There's some geometry here that, like, sure, there are all kinds of optical phenomena. The moon doesn't really have, the moon essentially has zero atmosphere. So, I mean, a dirty lens, like something wacky, like there are optical things that make things arranged in ways. But it's really clearly organized in a way. And there's not a good, I couldn't think of like what, because, they're looking away from they're not looking towards, there's nothing in between the moon and the sun that should make that happen. It seems too organized and too local. Like, if it's close, then there's nothing that really could explain it. If it was really far away, there's not really anything that could explain how organized the lights are.
Right.
Unless, never discount the possibility of a prankster, but I don't think of Apollo
like
astronauts.
A prankster alien. A prankster astronaut. Yeah.
Well, and I wonder what y'all think about this. I feel like back in the day, astronauts were taken a lot more seriously and kind of were held to a higher standard.
Yeah, like they were famous.
Right. I guess that's what I mean is that they were like very well known. They were doing something literally new to the human race, so it was like these guys were as legit as it gets.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That hasn't changed for me. I still think they are like the most qualified people ever to do any job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely
No,
didn't do illegal drugs in the last 10 years.
No,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Didn't one of them say something kind of liberally, and then there was some conservative backlash? I don't remember. But no, I don't know. I don't.
They're woke.
Maybe.
They've gone woke.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
pretty
maybe
sure
the
Buzz
general.
Aldrin is legitimately, or is he the one that supports Trump?
Don't say that. People love Buzz Aldrin. He's the MTV Music Award astronaut.
Oh, really?
It's modeled after Buzz Aldrin. Yeah, because what's his name? Armstrong, not Lance Armstrong. Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong wouldn't do it. The
Buzz
first man on the
Armstrong.
moon. He wouldn't let them use his likeness for the MTV
He was also
Music
in
Awards.
that video, right? I'm pretty sure he was the guy in the middle, Jonathan, of the one of the astronauts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Apollo 11,
Yeah, it was Buzz, him, and then the other guy who never got to go out on the moon.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's a bummer. It's a long way to go.
yeah.
to
I don't even
not,
remember that guy's name.
check
What
it.
was his
That's
name?
the thing. We don't even know his name.
Now, Buzz was also. I know that one time, like, not. I don't know, maybe a decade ago or so, he punched someone in the face who denied the moon landing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's sus
that was-
behavior.
That's what I'm saying. That's what older astronauts. That's the type.
Yeah. Also, can just shout out to his parents who named him Buzz. That's a cool name.
Yeah, that's pretty
Well, let's
sick.
find. Was that his given name?
Yeah, is that on his birth certificate? I was just about to check. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm the coolest guy ever. I have From Beyond. The film is up, and I'm on Wikipedia right now.
Born Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr.
Okay, I take it back. When you're named that, you
That's
have to get a
pretty
nickname.
square.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Priority
Where did he
number
get-
one: get a nickname, and then think about going to the moon.
Let's see
He
here.
had to work for that nickname too.
He
Oh, yeah.
changed to his legal first name in 1988. It arose as a result of his older sister mispronouncing brother as Buzzer.
Okay.
No comment. No fucking comment.
But I do want to shout out Buzz
can't
also
all
was
be winners.
Yeah.
a guest voice actor on The Simpsons, and he made fun of himself in a way that I really admire. Because Barney and Homer are training in competition to see which of them gets to be the everyday man who goes on the space mission. And they bring in the other members of the crew. One of them is Buzz Aldrin, and the guy's like, and here is, famous astronaut Buzz Aldrin. And then Buzz says, I'm the second man on the moon. Second comes right after first. And then everyone kind of awkwardly looks at each other.
Nice.
I thought that was really cool of him. But
Buzz Aldrin, dude.
yeah.
For some
back to the-
reason, it's cooler to be Buzz than Neil. Why is that?
I guess the name, right?
That's the name. And there's something a little cooler about, like, the first Neil Armstrong is like upright, hero. That's cool, but Buzz Aldrin seems like more fun or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, I guess there was John and Paul and George, but I was going to say there's a little bit of like a Ringo sort of vibe going on. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just because his name's silly.
He has a Ringo. Maybe that's part of it. To have the Ringo aura.
Yeah.
Same era too. So that it was a good time for being the
Person
sidekick
with
with,
a silly
funny
name. Yeah. When is it a bad time to be the sidekick
That's
with a
true.
silly?
We don't have a sidekick with a silly name. Maybe one of us needs to bite the bullet and do it.
I'll find someone.
Okay.
I mean, in Seattle, every other person has a silly name.
Oh, but that's almost, that loops back around to being not good if it's too high percentage, right? Is that true?
Oh
am I
yeah, I
judgmental?
guess so. I mean, you walk around and you meet someone whose name is like who introduces themselves as like kickflip or like
Oh my god.
unibrow or toenail toes, like you know, people. Yeah,
Man, in that rainy city redacted place you live in, up in Washington, over there by Tacoma,
Yep.
that's a crazy place.
it's rainy 365 days a year. I hear. All right,
But you can always have some Starbucks, home of Starbucks.
man. Can I complain about
I love this
Starbucks for a
bit.
second?
Yeah, sure,
What?
go for it, baby.
What were you gonna say
I love the
about
bit
Starbucks?
of doing city redacted, but then just
Completely-
hammering it home with context. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this comedian that I'm gonna look up her name. I want to shout her out because she's really funny. She's really
Oh.
dry. I'll look her up when I'm not talking.
Tignataro.
Close. She's got a little bit more than Aussie. No, it's a newer, younger. Let's see here. Deadpan female comedian, millennial,
Female.
glasses.
Millennial.
No. I'll find her. Oh yeah, no, here it
on
is.
That website. Well,
Emily Catalano.
Catalano.
But she had this joke when she was in Seattle. When she was there,
Right, you don't even live there, so.
no, like I don't be places. Sorry, that's like. But she had this joke that walking around Seattle, like big coffee town, and when I walked around, I realized that Seattle's got some really good coffee. I'm totally just doing a comedian's bit, but I shut her out. But she said, and I was walking around downtown, like, wow, they have really good coffee here. I could tell because there was human feces on every single block. So the coffee must, that the coffee's making everyone poop. And therefore is good. Yeah, that was her
Wonderful.
joke. But she delivered it much better.
So
Emily
sick.
Castlevania really bringing it.
Yeah. Catalano.
We
Navigating
I'm sorry.
millennial adulthood with a monotone, low energy style. Okay, anyways.
Let's do that for the rest of the episode, of monotone, low energy style. So of course America does it. America sets the standard, and then now everybody else comes out of the woodwork, wants to do a little disclosures of their own. Japan, I think, announced they're going to do some disclosures. Now, other countries like Chile and Iran have already had, many decades ago, have talked openly about some of these things.
Yep.
But Ukraine has been releasing some stuff. Now, Ukraine is in a war with Russia, so the amount of video they have of technically unidentified flying objects, but they're just war drones and stuff like that, is like there's tons of video coming out of there. But this one that they released, we'll have it in the show notes, is freaky looking. Of all the videos, it's the most if you let it be aliens in your head, it's fucking scary.
Which one are we talking about?
Yes.
That's the one that looks like the big angel with like the eye and like the fire spikes. Yeah.
Yeah. So my first observation, because I don't know if it was your observation in the show notes or where you got the observation that superficially it looks similar to Lockheed Martin's so-called multiple kill vehicle, which it does from certain angles. But the thrust pattern is entirely different. And that's the thing that struck me first, because the Lockheed Martin had multiple outlets for the thrust that could be opened and closed in order to stabilize it in 3 dimensions, which is exactly how any engineer on Earth would design a spacecraft to be stabilized using thrust in 3D. Mm-hmm. The object in the video had an exhaust that was a wide blade that is just not the way we do 3D math, not a structure whose turbulence is well controlled in an atmosphere. Like that's not the way that any human would design it. Mm-hmm. Yet it was really well stabilized. But that feature alone stood out to me as far as being one, very different from the Lockheed Martin that has some superficial similarities, and two is just like so not the way a person would do it.
Mm-hmm. That's a really interesting way to look at it, is like, how would a human actually even approach that engineering problem? And then is it just totally orthogonal to that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is a human would design orthogonal thrusts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on that. First off, though, was the Lockheed Martin thing you're talking? That's that little cylinder type thing that there was a video back in the 70s or something with it.
Yeah, well, the YouTube video said 99. Someone in the comments said it was actually 89.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, where did that come from? Is there any sort of verification that it is legitimate Lockheed Martin?
Oh, I
footage?
don't know. That's kind of stuff that goes around when on these communities, when people, especially like on Reddit, which is very, my big smart, big brain theory is it's loaded with CIA and other people trying to bake and like change things. But they often will post these videos. So, I saw it actually posted in a couple of different subreddits where this video of the Ukraine UFO is like suspected to be, not just this one, but there are some rockets that maybe if you saw it from a certain angle would have heat in the center. Like if you saw it going away from you, and then there might be white fins of heat coming off. Because in that Ukraine video, and if you're watching this or listening to this, you really should check it out. It's like heat sensing. So the white is the hottest part of the image, theoretically, depending on I think there's argument about what the actual footage is from. Like what kind of camera? But anyways,
sure.
Yeah. But the multiple kill vehicle has its own Wikipedia page. It's not super extensive in detail, but it is something that seems to be established.
Crazy name, multiple kill vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it sells well at the Department of Defense, though.
At the Department of what?
Department of War.
But yeah, there we go.
Now we're talking.
I think that the freakiest part of it is it does look like a biblically accurate angel, and which those have become so popular online the last couple of years. So it's
Trump posted them in his being Jesus memes.
That's right. Oh no, you got AI to bake him up with a little angel. So anyways, the one thing about that video that I found a little weird is that when the camera moves away, it's almost always, or maybe each time, the object seems to tilt also.
Yeah.
And there's some way that that could mean that it's actually somehow a reflection of, like, if the camera is inside of some kind of dome, it could be reflecting the camera. So then that would make sense that why the reflection kind of moves with it. But
yeah, I'm gonna view it again because I feel like the thrust. Oh gosh, I got an ad. The thrust isn't something that a camera would have.
Right. I think there's issues with that theory, but that's the most popular debunking theory I could find, and there's something in me that's like, oh, that's compelling that it would be the reflection of a camera looking at itself, because it does look like an eye. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it stays there when the field of view goes down and like looks at the ground, and then it comes back. The thing is in the same place. It's not reflecting at any other angle, and it does have that thrust coming. I'm viewing it right now. That thrust coming down that is dynamic. It's not
Right.
there's
It's not like
or some optical phenomena.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's behaving like exhaust,
Right. No, I think
and
I
it
mean
is pointing in the direction that one would need exhaust to stay at a constant altitude. It does
So
kind
what
of
do
look
we
like a
think?
piece of the Power Rangers set. I think 100% real.
PSR certified UFO.
Yeah, you know, I think it's very possible it's a Russian thing. It does sort of look like those, you know how Moscow has the Orthodox brown buildings, the pointy things and stuff?
Yeah, like the Onion Dome cathedrals.
Yeah, it's got that sort of vibe. It does remind
it does.
me. It does remind me of the Power Rangers set.
That's so funny to think of, like an engineer making it just kind of like Russian vibes.
Yeah.
So I wanted us to talk about, and this brings in our theme song for the day. This is kind of spiritually connected to the three big UFO releases that the Pentagon confirmed from the U.S. Navy, depicting events that took place, I think, between 2004 and 2015. These have the famous names, and we'll have links to these videos in the show notes too. Fleur, Gimbal, and Go Fast are the names of the clips. If you've seen releases lately on the news in the last several years, it's been these videos almost certainly. But what's funny is that they were first. Fleur and Gimbal were first released in a 2017 New York Times piece that was facilitated by To the Stars, like a UFO truther organization founded by Tom DeLonge, guitarist, and the nasally singer of
Oh yeah,
Blink-182.
because Mark sang too, right?
Yeah, because it like so. If you think about
small things,
right,
yeah,
that's Tom DeLonge, and then if you think about like will not go. Wait, that I think that's Tom DeLonge too. What's the song where it's like she left me roses by the stairs? Surprises make me know she cares. When the
All
guy
the small
who's
things.
yeah, when he's when they sing about like we'll have Halloween on Christmas and in the night we'll wish this never ends. That's the other guy. That's the non-UFO guy.
Mark. He might be a UFO guy. Don't tell him.
He might be a UFO guy, but he's not the hero that Tom DeLonge is. Also, very interesting that a guy named DeLonge wrote all the small things.
Yeah, because that song is clearly about your penises.
Don't say. You promised you wouldn't make that joke on air.
Ah, I say a lot of things. But,
Yeah, but that's got to be. That alone is probably my favorite UFO fact.
It's a random one, isn't it? I mean,
what?
Can you go ahead and
your
just show us
penises are
your
small?
tattoo,
Tom did,
Mike, for the in honor of this? There we are.
Oh yeah.
Here, play the riff. Play the riff while you show the.
Yeah.
Show the. You show that, and then producer Jim play the riff. Rocket Station Radio. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Get it. Hell yeah, dude! Some of these are crazy though. The Tic Tac one, the Tic Tac craft, 40 feet long.
Tic Tac. Is that the name of your?
Don't say that. Do not say that. If you're
Johnny
watching,
boy, you're getting tore up over there. Come on now.
do not make those kind of jokes in the comments, guys. Yeah, this thing was like moving around the Tic Tac craft. It had no wings, no exhaust, no visible propulsion, and it moves like crazy. It moves so fast. I think it's like 30,000. Is it 30,000 miles per hour or 30,000 times like known speed?
I think 30 times.
30,000 times the speed of light.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Now, some people argue that it only seems to be moving that fast because of parallax, because like the ocean is moving and the plane is moving and the object is moving, so it can appear like it's moving faster. But I trust the Navy pilots to know more.
Parallax. What?
Are we done playing games, Jim?
Okay,
we have
I'm
work
sorry
to
to
do right
interrupt
now.
you.
We are
Let's
at work.
straighten up, man.
Golly.
What is going on?
You know, there's a reason on the application to be producer for PSR, there was that thing about that took way too long.
Well, and also we didn't know the guy tried to be an FBI agent.
That's
Jim,
true.
what the hell?
Oh yeah, on our applications it should be I haven't tried to be in the FBI in the last 10 years.
Hey, well, you just know I'm an extra bad boy because I didn't qualify, and I'm vindictive against
certified.
He just went in to get confirmation.
Yeah, too badass for the FBI.
Yeah. That's my origin story. Coming for
So
you,
these-
Dash.
Dude, the really cool
Just
thing
kidding.
is that some of the people involved in those were do you all remember the congressional hearings a few years ago where they had people like David Grush on to talk, and like they were talking about there are recovered they called it biologics, which I've never in my life ever heard something referred to as biologics.
Right.
He just said that and then everyone just rolled with it. They were like, "Oh yeah, that's
Sure.
Human biologics, yeah.
That'll sell. That'll sell.
yeah, right." So I mean, you can say that these guys are all full of shit, but they're also like, well, who are we gonna trust? Who gets to be a trusted whistleblower? Is it someone who has like a sterling reputation in the U.S. Navy? I think that counts, right?
Sure, under oath in front of Congress.
Right? Yeah. Like who gets to count? At a certain point, you're running out of what would be allowed as evidence.
Sure, like making clear in their responses things that they are disallowed to talk about, and are also being clear about their present affiliation with said organizations. Right.
Right. That's something that I don't like about so-called skeptics is that they often I think that the party line is that they just want good proof and they just question the proof, but then there's also this sort of like there are these weird goalpost moving exchanges I'll see online. Now it's online, so it's like it's not fair to all people who are skeptics
Sure.
yeah, but it's like I do see that sometimes or experience that in conversation with people where it's like whatever the evidence is, it's always not good enough now, even though I don't know, like what would be the testimony we would want, or like if there's video of it, like I don't know.
I think that's an interesting I think it's an interesting question because
Hey, it's just more editing for me. It's all right.
fuck it. Just
guys.
keep on.
Just talk over each other.
I guess it's interesting to hear that because it is like a good question. And for me, watching all of this, I kind of, not so much that I disbelieve any of it. I don't feel like there's any confirmation from anything that I saw. And you know, I think I want it to be real. That'd be pretty wild. But at the same time, it's like there's just so many things that it could be. And I know some of it, like, well, first off, it could be fucking AI, you know? And there's just, I don't see any reason at all to
Sure. I think
to
those
feel-
hearings, I guess AI was around when those hearings came out. It just wasn't apps.
But even the hearings, dude, the government has been pulled in front of Congress and just straight up lied many times, you know?
Sure.
And it's like, fuck it. They probably don't give a shit, especially if someone higher up told them to say some shit,
Right.
you know? And it's not that I think that's what is going on. It's just that I coming away from it, I'm like, fuck, sure, could be, maybe.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It makes it seem so much more important that we like where we started the conversation on what's even the frame of why the disclosures or the motivations behind it. It becomes so important to have a good frame, because otherwise it's like, yeah, ultimately you could have someone like in front of Congress with like, here is the body of a non-human, like, biologics. Here is a spaceship with shit we can't explain, and that's actually not evidence anymore because of the world we live in. Like the information age is one where that wouldn't actually. You would have to already believe that they're real to be convinced.
Right.
That's fucking scary sometimes to me, but it's also exciting and psychedelic.
And that's one of the things too that, like, I mean, as far as all this is concerned, I think is an underlying societal issue is like people distrust the government, they distrust science. Yeah, they believe shit that's like random as fuck, you know. And who's to say, what authority is there now to say what is believable and what's not, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think that there could be a degree of visitation by visitors that want to be known that would be undeniable. But as far as like individual events that are weird, I don't know. I like to believe that if anyone, John Kasich, came to Congress with a dead alien and a spaceship, that would be believed. I don't think we're beyond. But yeah, you know, as far as what would be convincing, I think that the aliens have the upper hand. I think there will be convincing evidence when they want there to be convincing evidence.
Yeah.
Right. And like none of the
way you
videos
said
we've
that
been
was
talking
scary.
about so far are this, but there are videos where people are claiming it's a, you know, UFO or UAP, and it's got like flashing lights on it. That seems really weird to me. Why the fuck would aliens have flashing lights on their spacecraft, and why would they be on?
Yeah.
Sure, if they were coming down, I don't know. I mean, we have like.
What if it's a plane? Maybe it's
That's my point. It seems like it's a plane.
Yeah.
I think my brake lights come on when I reverse. I don't know how that works in cars. It'd just be a design feature.
They just come on.
Yeah. You know, it's like a safety feature in their district.
Weird design
wrong turn.
So, yeah. I wonder though what y'all think. Like, is it more likely that let's say it's one of the two? It's either a UFO or, and by UFO, I mean something not of Earth, or it's like some tech that has been developed by Lockheed Martin or something, or the U.S. government. Or
yeah. Are you asking specifically about the Ukraine video or just in general?
I'm saying in general. Like, let's say they're UFOs. We've got footage. It's somewhere in the giant pile of footage that we have of UFOs. What would be more likely to y'all?
Some of both.
Here's I want to give an answer that includes one last factoid from what I like to call the Blink 182 disclosures. They called it a transmedium object, where it was one of the UAPs is flying all crazy and then goes into the ocean.
Yeah.
So there is, now bear with me, but I think that there could be like, they could be like humanoid, like actually like biologically like related to us, or maybe even humans. And it could just be that it's a civilization that doesn't want to be, for whatever reason, doesn't want to be known. Or it could be like, a humanoid species that has access to geometry that just, that our senses and brain just aren't able to enter into or compute. And then they like are also here around us, and they do scientific experiments on us, and like that would explain the weirdness of the encounters. Often when people encounter crashed, like so many tens of thousands of people in the last 100 years have had encounters with aliens, and it's like they're weird. They're not normal encounters with like other animals. They ask weird questions, or they do weird things, and it's like, it's the kind of stuff like in Fight Like an Animal. He had an episode about this where, if you were a rat in an experiment, it's that kind of stuff. Like, really weird stuff happens, like a pellet appears, or you're in a maze, like that there is like this weirdness to the stories that are,
Yeah, I think,
I don't know if that answers the question.
No, I think, that is like a a family of theories. I also think that it could just be some eccentric or non-eccentric person of means, or small cohort of means, that has some stuff that is not, say, developed by the U.S. government or some other government. Like, it could be just some crazy clandestine operation, because like some people out there do have like weird amounts of wealth and access to technology and stuff that are not bound by government oversight. So
that raises questions for me about like the tech development industry in general, of like, is it true that money can just break through barriers as far as tech is concerned? But and on top of that, I wonder, like, if it's our governments or Lockheed Martin, are they capable of half the shit that we've seen? Because it's it was like with the Israel when it was getting bombed. It's like the air defense systems just don't fucking work. So it's like, if they can't do that, which with these rockets that are being shot, that's like child's play apparently to some of the videos we're seeing. It's like, if they can do that, then how could they develop it? But at the same time, sometimes you hear people, and this goes to the missing scientist and stuff, and some of the videos I was listening to on that, it's like, okay, maybe there are like really legitimate Men in Black type, totally off of any sort of oversight that the government would have, that I don't know, maybe they're just keeping this shit to themselves. I want to clarify that just for the listener. If you're not aware, there is people have been following a large number of scientists connected to like high tech aerospace kind of work and material science, advanced material science. They're disappearing, either under mysterious. What's the number at?
Or that's a really good question.
10 or something?
I thought it was higher than that. But I think you might be right. Yeah, it's like it's a lot, and
it's kind of crazy, and it's all pretty recent too, right? I mean, it's within 18 months, I would assume.
And then go on, Jim. I feel like I stepped on you twice.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, like, in a lot of wars and stuff, they go after the scientists of the opposing parties, but it also could be aliens trying to cut humans off from accessing things they don't want to do. I was just going down rabbit holes.
There's also, I think there's also, I really liked this connection to, like, say, the Israeli missile defense system, which, if money can buy really high quality stuff, and surely working together as tightly as they do with the U.S., surely anything's possible for them. And if there's a country that would be investing at the highest level in missile defense, you would imagine it would be Israel. So, but then then it's like, is the inability for that to actually overcome rocket strikes, is that one, it's actually just a lot fucking harder to do that than it just is so actually really hard.
Locomoting one object versus targeting it two projectiles, predicting all kinds of turbulence and shit.
And then like, there's also is it just actually really hard? Is it that they're actually just are more incompetent than they would posture? Both of those things seem very likely to me. And then there's also this narrative piece that also seems likely to me about how much of the war is orchestrated to appear a certain way, and to like, how much of it is actually I'm not saying it's not real, like people aren't dying. I'm saying, like, the people who are orchestrating the war, just exactly how in cahoots are they, and what kind of moves are they making together to move like, especially like the Strait of Hormuz being closed. How much of that is triggering a global energy crisis to justify certain moves that can now be made?
Absolutely. Like, would I put it past the Israeli government to allow a few strikes to land in their country in order to have a better reason for returning strikes and striking Lebanon? I wouldn't put it past them, but I'm not saying I believe that that's the case. But I think more like my I don't want to call it like a challenge, but the point that it is more complicated to intercept something that's moving with something else that's moving, that are both extremely small in terms of the solid angle of the sky, but not even including the third dimension, versus locomoting one object.
Yeah, and they also have evasive capabilities too.
Right,
you know,
right.
Aliens,
laser guided missiles. You know, it's like they can make evasive. But put all that to the side, because the thing about the air defense is not so much that, like, they're not performing super well. I mean, I think that seems to be fairly clear, but let's say that they're doing it intentionally to allow them to make more aggressive attacks. I still feel like the thing that both the Iran-Israel war and Russia-Ukraine war have shown is that war itself has shifted in how to fight a war. And so we've dumped all this money into air defense systems that maybe they do well, maybe they don't. But they're totally obsolete now, just because you can make drones for $1,000 that can destroy this shit, you know? And all you have to do is send 50,000 drones, you know, or send a number that's just too big. So it's like all that research and development, maybe it performs really well, maybe it doesn't, but it doesn't matter because it's obsolete at this point. You know?
I think to a certain degree, I agree, but I also think that those defenses both work well or not well, depending on what is better strategy for them. I think I do believe that they have capability, and that whether they let it fail is in some cases deliberate, in some cases not. But yeah, I was hoping that war would evolve into just like the Ayatollah and Donald Trump playing Call of Duty online. But I think it's more likely to just have like a data center the size of Nevada against one that occupies all Beirut, and the 2 data centers are
chess.
launching strikes that kill actual humans, innocent populations.
We're going with the positive.
Yeah,
man.
here on PSR. I think that there is something I was drawn to, Michael, and something that this dynamic you were talking about, where some of the tech we have now is there's like the big bad tech, and then there's like the scrappy a bunch of cheap drones. It's like, yeah, any one drone is no issue. It's drones are so cheap and easy to get in and make. Now it reminds me of this history long feud between the guerrilla force and then the really well-oiled war machine force. There's like those archetypally, those feel very ancient.
Sure.
Yeah, like that's just in a lot of ways been how war has, depending on what you can do, you'll do one or the other.
I guess my underlying feeling is that like these companies like Lockheed Martin and all that are legitimately just there to make money, you know, obviously. And because of that, where they are doing research and development is not tied to pushing technological advancement.
Right.
It's tied to where can we get more funding. And so you have all this like funding going to things that, well, maybe it's not so useful. And it's the same thing that's like with aircraft carriers. They're incredibly hard to defend and easily targeted. And they're literally sitting ducks, you know, and we've dumped just unimaginable amount of money into these things. And I don't think it's because aircraft carriers are in some way pushing, you know, forward the ability to wage war. And so like whenever I'm thinking about could they develop this shit, it's like I just don't believe it at all that human that you know, and maybe Jim's right, like maybe it's like some dude that's just got so much fucking money and this guy is legitimately just interested and wants to find something out. But at the same time, it's like, man, it seems like a lot of super wealthy people are not that interested.
Epstein was really interested in the sciences. Like really interested. So if you know any science fans in your life, look out. Sorry.
Oh gosh, I found some math blog in this. It was there was a retreat for mathematicians, like advertised. I wouldn't dox them anyways. In a notable math department at a university, and it was funded by a Mr. Epstein. And then there were people talking about like going to the retreat and stuff, and how it was cool and it's nice to have some private funding to get math minds together. And then someone like said something about hearing like he was kind of squirrely. It was funny, but yeah, he was really into that. But I wanted to expand on that idea that these government contractors, they build what is funded, and what gets funded is what sounds like it'll be really effective weaponry or defense to someone who isn't interested in technology per se. And would Lockheed Martin build an object with really precision locomotion? There's not really that's not something that directly is directly useful as a weapon necessarily. Like it could be in ways, but I think some people with a fraction of the intellectual capability and funding, but are specifically interested in advanced precision locomotion could do far more than those companies have, because that's not what they're getting funded to do.
No, I think that's a really good point, Jim, because it even, you know what that reminds me of is that AI system that China came out with, I don't know, like 3 years ago. Do you recall that at all? I forget what it was, WeChat or something maybe.
That rings a bell.
What was that, Jonathan?
DeepSeek.
Yeah. So it's like they produced an AI system that outperformed, all the Western AI, but they made it for a literal fraction of the cost. And so it's like, yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, I like that argument. It's like, yeah, sure. A lot of this money is being wasted, and also too, it's like they're selling boxes of napkins or something for $5,000,
and they're making it. And they are doing a lot of manufacturing as far as the research and development for new weapons. They're wanting like exciting new things that are hard to destroy and can also destroy a lot of other things. And the locomotion, which I think is the most fascinating aspect of these observations,
totally
is not something that is a priority for them as far as research.
Right.
And then I was also going to say,
some of these UAPs, it's pretty loco motion. As in crazy. Loco as in crazy. Living La Vida loco motion.
Yeah. And the crowd goes, the chair. Use the chair.
Whoa. Yeah, how does it go? Is the Macarena, where were those guys? Where were they from?
Living La Vida Macarena.
Yeah, because he was Puerto Rican, proud American. The Macarena, I want to say they were Spanish.
They're not
Spanish
Mexican?
Too. No, Spanish.
I would think they were from South America or Central America.
No, dude.
Mexico, not South America. I just stepped in it with our Mexican.
What?
I'm sorry about that.
Mexico is North
Lo
America.
siento.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah, but boy, every time that groove
North
kills.
America. What? Yeah. See, I stepped in it again. Both
It's all one America.
It's come on. Yeah, that's right.
What is America?
Uno Americo.
Uno humano. But thinking about just the direction of warfare going into like making drone squads, and then eventually they'll be fighting drone squads, and then eventually you'll have AI factories with manufacturing capability to make more drones, and then probably to fabricate more factories to make more drones. So in a way, I think continuing that to its logical conclusion, we'll end up in a situation where it is just going to be whoever has more material resources will win, because you'll just press start on the make drone factories algorithm, and then the other side could do the same thing, and then one side will run out of drones before the other. So in that case, it would simplify warfare. Whichever country has more resources could win without having any conflict occur, and we are destined towards some sort of single state in the world.
Well, that interestingly brings me to some of the last things I want to talk about before we get out of here. That actually perfectly segues to our next section, which is what is going on, Tucker Carlson.
What is going on?
What is going on?
Shout out to Tucker.
Yeah,
Fox is just not the same without him.
He is really doing a good job of pivoting right now, scrambling wildly away from. It's so funny. You spend a decade promoting someone, and then now you say you were duped or whatever. It's like, what? How are we supposed to trust your judgment, man?
I don't know. There, you can dislike who people change into.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's something though about, I guess something I value in a political commentator would be their read on a situation.
Right.
And I think that there's a certain amount of if you get a situational read really, really wrong, then like they're sort of it stinks up the brand, I think. I know you're a big Tucker Carlson fan.
Yeah, sure, but the situation could evolve into ways where earlier the pieces at play were in a state that you could endorse, and later they evolved.
It's also kind of slim picking these days.
Yeah.
You can't
Tucker
be
is spectacularly charismatic.
His laugh, man. That's a toughie.
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
No, I think as far as, I mean, I say the same about Alex Jones and Trump. As far as what they are doing for the people that they are trying to get on board with them, they are profoundly effective. And I think anyone, regardless of their views on the content or views of these people, can learn something about their messaging effectiveness. I'm gonna leave it at that.
PSR needs to learn a few things from.
We should get Tucker on.
Yeah, bring on. He could be our funny name.
We're going
sidekick.
Alex, baby.
Yeah,
Alex Jones. I heard he needs a job, doesn't he? Okay, so what is going on? I wanted to include my conspiracy theory that we have to include, and then also my favorite description to take us out, and then I want to do a book recommendation for people who are interested in if they don't have a lay of the land of alien stuff yet. My favorite this isn't my favorite conspiracy theory, but it's one that we have to name Project Bluebeam by Serge Monast. He's a Canadian conspiracy theorist, or was. And he believes, I'm just going to read directly from the Wikipedia because this sentence is like it's like a poem. A plot to facilitate a totalitarian world government by destroying Abrahamic religions and replacing them with a New Age belief system using futuristic NASA technology and involving a faked alien invasion or faked extraterrestrial encounter meant to deceive nations into uniting under a new world government. That is the paranoid path. Yeah. This gets rid of the endless drone war. The AI-driven, self-propagating drone war is if we all just unite as one government. Yeah.
But, one government who was concerned with environmental stewardship would be better than a whole bunch of states that aren't.
That's true.
In my humble opinion.
Producer Jim is ready for President Xi to come.
Have y'all seen or read The Three Body Problem?
I saw the first episode.
You weren't into it, huh?
Drama's just not my scene.
Yeah.
I like the part at the
You don't like drama?
No. But there was. I like the
You should
part
put that in your
where it
Tinder
was sad.
profile.
You said, fuck Shakespeare.
No drama.
I don't like drama. Yeah.
I like the premise a lot. I did think it was cool.
Yeah.
Too many bodies.
Not enough.
Oh, you're not.
Never
Yeah,
enough.
you. Tim,
Hey, I know what to do with three bodies. It's not a problem for me. Yeah, I don't know. There's other things you could say about it.
Yeah.
So you do you recommend it for under what do they say aliens are?
Okay, spoiler alert for anyone who actually wants to watch it. I think it's worth watching. It's fun. It's got a few cool concepts in it. One of them, the video game that they play, which is, I guess, a simulation. But I think it's like aliens who are headed towards Earth for some reason. Yes, their planet was like dying or whatever. So they're looking for a new home type situation. But then in correspondence with people from Earth, they figure out that Earth people lie. And then they lose contact, and then they get back contact. So I don't know if there's a new season or what. Yeah, because the guy he's telling a story. The person that they have contact with on Earth, he's telling a story, and a story involves a little white lie where someone's lying like to be polite or something, or it's a joke, And they're like, "Oh, explain that to me." And he's like, "Well, sometimes you say stuff that isn't necessarily true." And then they're like, "Hold on, you lie?"
Skirt.
Yeah. Like, damn, we turning around.
They're so naive. The aliens. They're so naive.
Well, it's like a different, life. I don't know.
Yeah.
It starts off in like communist China, and it's like, and there's also like, an appreciation for science that's.
Yeah,
it's
and I think
up my alley.
The aspect that the aliens are communicating and or messaging to the scientists,
right?
Like leading scientists,
singling out.
Yeah, makes this disappearing of scientists situation a little bit eerie,
right?
Yeah, they could be being offed by aliens and or by government officials who are aware of the communication.
I like the idea that they're actually being saved. They're being rescued.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they're the only ones that got raptured.
They got raptured.
What if rapture is not a simultaneous event? What if it happens?
Well, yeah, why would it be? Nowhere says it has to be all at once, all at the same time, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just little by little. These
Think
are the
about
10.
that.
Yeah. These are the only 12 scientists who weren't on the Epstein Island.
We're like right now in the Hollywood prequel to The Leftovers.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. I love that show. Goodness gracious. Jim wouldn't like it. It has drama. One last thing.
Dismissive. It was just
yeah. Sure. You play your guitar, producer Jim.
Shut up.
I think something I really think is worth considering is I said this a little bit at the beginning, but that the fairies, angels, aliens are kind of all the same phenomenon. Fairies, not just fairies from Ireland, but there's fairy-like creatures in just about every culture. If W.B. Yeats has this book Celtic Twilight, where he captures stories, real-world stories of people in Ireland, and their firsthand accounts of engaging with fairies, and it's weirdly similar. And then Jacques Vallée, he connected these dots a lot in his research, just like how similar a lot of these things are. And if you, especially if you start thinking about the metaphors people would use before there are airplanes and spaceships that we build, like how would they describe things in the air? Would be like a boat in the air, things like that. I don't know. Something about that makes sense to me. Also, one of the representatives was involved in the disclosures, was talking about read the Book of Enoch. And I have the Book of Enoch right here, which it's a very interesting book.
Stay humble.
Is that from the Old Testament?
It's a mystical text, a Jewish mystical text, but it's not a canonical text.
Okay.
But Enoch is in Genesis. He's the character in Genesis
that's where I heard it in the Bible.
Yeah, he's brought up by God, and in the Book of Enoch, he's kind of shown where the angels live, and he describes how these angels called the Watchers this is only lightly treated in Genesis, but is expanded upon in this, how the Watchers came down and laid with the daughters of men and had children, these giants called the Nephilim, because they came down and had sex with humans. And there is like an occult sort of belief that maybe this describes how an advanced humanoid race or potentially an alien race came and altered DNA of early humanoids to create Homo sapiens, or potentially some humans have this different DNA in them, but not maybe everyone.
Just the professional wrestlers.
That's right. Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and definitely Shawn Michaels. But I was wondering if you guys would humor me and I could read a couple paragraphs of him describing going up to talk with these angels, because it's crazy.
Do it.
It's crazy. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built out of crystals, and the walls of the house were like a tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was clear as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling gat hold upon me. Anyways, when I read passages like that, I'm thinking, yeah, crystal and fire feel like the kinds of things you would talk about when I think of like an advanced interior we would build today, like with artificial lighting and with like crystal. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
Sure. From someone of that era describing like the lobby of MoMA.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then there's just these interesting things about if we keep an open mind. None of the things we've talked about today I feel really sure of in my mind. I'm in a state of like, dude, I don't know, but I know some weird. It's weird, and that's compelling, or so. Yeah, that's like about as far as I've gotten that I'm sure of. It's compelling. I wonder how you guys feel here at the end of the discussion.
I hate to say it, but I'm kind of like interested to learn more about these missing scientists. Hopefully we don't get more gone. Get more gone. Yeah, no, but I don't know, man. It's got me wanting to watch sci-fi and stuff. I'll say that. Good old alien visit.
Yeah. I think, extraterrestrials that have the technology to reach us, more likely than not, I think they'll be unambiguously observed when they choose to be. The truth is out there.
I feel like Jim knows something, man.
Yeah. His CIA years, they showed him things. Neil deGrasse Tyson showed him some. If you want to learn more about like the state of UFO research and stuff, American Cosmic, UFOs, Religion, Technology by D.W. Pasulka is one place you can start. I say that next episode we just do it a lock right now. Maybe we can just do it on the missing scientist.
I'm game for that.
Yeah, I'm down.
So yeah, the alien disclosure is kind of freaky, but we've gotten this far, and if strange things have been here this whole time we've been alive, then I think that we can make it. I've been here 36 years. I think we can make another 36 or so. We'll just see who our neighbors are a little bit better, maybe, as time goes on, and maybe there's more to know. It's at least exciting that we live in a time where disclosure is happening and where these kinds of discussions are able to be made in the public square without so much stigmatizing. So I see a lot of hope, actually, and I think that we live in an exciting psychedelic time, and I'm glad I get to share it with my fellow Stones. Producer Jim on the guitar. Michelangelo, show us what you've been drawing.
I did a little cartoon.
Little cartoon. Oh, goodness.
Little UFO getting blown
Oh yeah, fuck 'em.
up. Also, another very stylized female portrait, which looks terrible on. God, why does that? You know, they say the camera adds 15 pounds. When you're drawing, it adds a little more than that.
The prophet speaks in all of us. Is that another classic?
Hasta luego.
That was a good one.